Hey lovely Hexling and our Cauldron crew, I'm Imogen, and in this video I am going to be attempting to merge these two kits to make a unique one-of-a-kind Necromancer. Now I have an idea for this. I am a little bit worried that the arms and hands might just be a little bit too big for this character, but I'm hoping we can make it work. I'm really excited, and so let's see how it goes. So before we get into that, why not check out my social media? All my links are now in my link tree, including my affiliate links and discounts, my blog, my Instagram, my Amazon wishlist, everything, because sometimes things change a little bit and I figured it was just easier to put all the links just in there, and then if you want a link, that's where they are, including my Cauldron crew, past and present. So if you click on that, you'll be able to get links to all their social media. So I have these two kits. One is the Soulblight's Gravelord's Vampire Lord, and the other one is the Soulblight's Necromancer. And I'm hoping to make my own unique Necromancer by basically putting the arms of the Necromancer onto the rest of the Vampire Lord. And then they're going to be a female. I may add some extra bits on in a future video, but in this video it is literally just about building that initial character base. So I'm building up the torso here, and then in a minute you will see me building the legs, which are part of the base. They have like a rock that they are like raised up on. And I'm just showing you how basically I cut them out, and then I used this really awesome little craft knife, which I did end up cutting myself on because I was so mauled by this fly that just would not leave me alone. But I cut out the bit where I cut myself, so you don't have to see that. But yes, so I just scraped this back using this knife, so be super careful that you don't cut yourself. Using some clippers, which mine aren't rusty. I need to get some non-rusty ones, but I absolutely love these and they still work like a dream. And then also using some sand sticks. I will put on screen what grade those sand sticks are, but the white ones are the least rough ones that I own, and they're like super smooth, more like for polishing than they are really for sanding. So they are super kind and super gentle. Later on in this video you will see the green one and also the pink one, but for what I need, I just wanted to remove any evidence that the sprue was there, and yeah, it really worked, and I had a really lovely time. I did decide against adding in all like the little bat wing bits that go on the legs and on the arms and on the shoulders. Obviously I didn't add the original arms for the Vampire Lord because one arm is holding the handle for the shield and the other arm is holding a big ass weapon, and that wasn't the hands or the vibe that I wanted to go. I wanted these big drapey sleeves. And originally I was like, maybe I could just create a green stuff cloak so I could blend these sleeves in sort of seamlessly and make it look like it's part of the model. But when I did actually eventually manage to get the arms to go on, and you will see the struggle is real, my friends. When I did actually get these arms to go on, they just look like big gothy drapey sleeves, and with the spiky sort of armor parts of the original character design, I just figured it really worked. And then there's some bats in the hair, and I decided to leave those bats in because I really liked it, and I think it works really well. So for here I am literally just fitting the front and the back together, seeing how it goes together, and I'm really pleased with how it looks. I think it actually looks better than it does on the box art, because on the box art they're holding this huge shield and weapon, and it sort of distracts from being able to see what the body would look like. But the body is so much nicer than I thought it was going to be, and it went together like an absolute dream. And then here I'm just cutting out the legs, and I kind of got to the point where I was like, this video is going to be really long if I don't start speeding some bits up. So from here onwards I do a mixture of real time versus 5 speed and also 11 speed, just because I feel like you kind of got the idea of cutting, cleaning, scraping, and then gluing. Later I do use some sprue glue as well, which is DIY glue that I made using a second Tamiya thin cement and also some Warhammer sprue, which you cut into 10 little bits and insert it. If you've never made it yourself, I am kind of obsessed with this stuff. It works just so well and it's really nice, and I don't know, it's been real fun kit bashing stuff and then filling in gaps, and it's made some things an utter game changer. So I do go a little bit heavy with my Tamiya. I've seen some people who use it so sparingly and have some great successes, and I've seen other people who really lather it on, and I was like, okay, so it's not a bad thing to do that. But yes, and also I did try to put the square on my craft mat, or rectangle on my craft mat so that I remember, ADHD remembers to be inside of this frame. Unfortunately, that did not quite work out on this video, but I am learning, I am trying. I've also brought the camera a little bit further down so you'd be able to get a better quality than me having to zoom in and lose some of that quality as well, especially during live streaming. So hopefully I can continue to improve my videos, improve my live streaming. And on my live streams, I have been working on building some Deadwalker zombies. So this is going to be the Necromancer who is in charge of those zombies. And I might be completely making this up as I go along, but I'm having a wonderful time and I'm really liking creating my own characters and kitbashing stuff. It's become a really fun project to like just create, not conform to the box art and not just stick to what's on the sprue and this is how it must be done, this is how it was designed. So I've had a lot of fun, and here I'm literally just cutting out the arms from the Necromancer sprue, cleaning them up, and then of course attempting to stick them on. Now you will see, and as I did mention, it was an utter faff. I really struggled with this, mostly because the two connecting parts are obviously different and the sizes are different and they're not actually meant to go together. So I simply started by cleaning up the actual pieces that I cut off the sprue, making sure that there was no little extra nubby bits sticking out, that I'd sanded it all flat, cleaned it up, and I was happy with the sleeve and also the weapon, and the other hand is holding the skull as well. There's that fly. That fly did not leave me alone. But yes, so I'm just dry fitting this to try and figure out whereabouts the arms go on, if I need to cut a bit off the front, off of the back, just off of the main torso, if they go behind these bits on the torso, if they will still go on even if the legs are in there. And ultimately, like, yeah, they will still go on if the legs are in there, and nothing interfered with the legs, which was a worry after the fact, even though I tested it before to try and see. So here I am literally just checking out the sprues and seeing if the hands work with the size of the face. They are quite a bit bigger than the head, and also like not in proportion to the feet. But I think for the perspective, they will work because one hand is holding the staff and then the other hand is holding the skull. And I, of course, have created a whole Necromancer lore story. Why wouldn't I have done that? So there will be a video out where I reveal their lore. And they are actually a continuation from my Quaff the Raven. So if you haven't seen that, definitely go check out that. That was a 2-part video series. I think this is probably going to be a 3-part video series. So there's going to be this one, which is me just basically building the model. Then there's going to be another one, which is going to be me altering the model and priming it. And then the last video is going to be me, she says, the last video is going to be me painting and then the final reveal. But then I'll also be doing a video where I do their lore story. So it might end up being a 4-part, or it might be a 3-part. And I do like the additional kit bashing and all of the painting in the second video, and then the third video is their lore. Maybe I try and figure that out. I should have thought about this ahead of time, but the parts that I wanted literally only came yesterday, and I really need to get this video done and edited up. I don't have time to be doing additional kit bashing to add on to the end of this video, which also is already far too long. You're doing really well to still be here watching this. But yes, so back to the model. I had some issues trying to figure out where the arm should stick, or getting the arm to stick. And when the arm did stick, it came off. And in some cases, I couldn't even really understand how or why it came off. So I did end up going a little bit heavy with the Tamiya. And then I ended up like really sort of getting in there and adding extra Tamiya over the top. I did try to add a little bit to the bottom of the bodice onto the inside of like the sleevey bit, and I left it to dry, and I walked away for a while, and then I came back, and it was set up, but when I moved it just a slight little bit, it moved. So here I am thinking that the arm is glued on and we've got no issues, and I went to put the other arm on and knocked the first arm off. So I was like, right, sprue glue. We're going to have to use sprue glue. We're going to have to go in heavy. We're really going to have to create some connection points in there. So I tried to go into the parts where you wouldn't really see because the legs would be there. And under the armpit, I'm thinking I am going to have to fill that in with some green stuff as well. Then I walked away and I let this dry. So here it literally looks like I did that and then I moved on. But I did actually put it down, walk away for 20 minutes or so, and then I came back and I started trying to fit the second arm. And this is where I start going absent-minded and being more off camera than on camera. And I am so mad at myself for it. I did end up cutting this extra bit off of the cloak because it was too extra and it was sticking out the back and it just did not make much sense. So I cut it, and later on I ended up cutting the other sleeve, and I kind of regret cutting the other sleeve. I kind of wish I had just left that as is. But all in all, it turned out really well. Like, I'm going to spoiler that caveat there. Like, yeah, I'm really, really pleased with how this turned out. And I think I surprised myself on how well it actually turned out. So here I am just cleaning up that sleeve. I've cut a bit off and I'm sanding, and then I'm trying, and then I'm cutting and trying and sanding and scraping and sanding. And yeah, you get the idea. You can see what I'm doing, and I'm doing a lot of it, of course, off camera. And I really need to think about my camera angles to improve and ensure that I'm working within the square. But ADHD brain gets carried away and I forget. So let's add some sprue glue onto that, add it onto the bodice, and really hope for the best was the plan at this point. I figured if I held it for a minute or so, sat it down for a minute or so. So I added some more sprue glue and stuff just to really try and make it fit. And then I was toying with, do I want to remove that extra bit of the sleeve? So I marked it with a marker, added some more sprue glue, added some more Tamiya thin cement, tried to hold it in place, set it up, was really happy with how it was looking. Definitely going to have to fill in the under the arm gaps. And there's a few bits where I'm probably going to have to make it look a little less janky, but more like sleeves. And then I went and got one of my army painter brushes so that I could dust off the extra dust from sanding, because that was really getting in the way as well. And of course this bit is sped up. But all in all, it did actually kind of work, like really kind of work. And then I sat it down and I walked away for, I think it's about an hour or so. And then when I came back, I decided to cut and try doing the little bat wings and stuff. And ultimately, I decided to just put them in a box for another project, along with the rest of the original Necromancer. And here I'm just removing the Vampire Lord's head and cleaning up those bats, which was so delicate, and I was so frightened that I was going to like chip a wing off and really struggle to get it back on. So I was extra careful, and it doesn't look so much that I was, but I genuinely was a little bit extra careful trying to just clean up those bats on the hair, because they are tousled in the hair. So I think the original character is supposed to be a male because it's Gravelord. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are a male. Should have looked into this. The Soulblight Gravelord's Vampire Lord is intentionally androgynous, and while some interpret this to see a male due to their earlier pronoun usage, the official position is that the mood is designed to be adapted to any gender the player wishes. Like this one on the box art, they have slight build or underboss style armor, and that can lead to perceiving them as female, while initial references are male pronouns. These were edited to be gender neutral to they to reflect the model's design for versatility. So it can be a he or a she or a they. So the body is as the body is. It's looking for the female. I am so glad that I cut these bits off of the back of the sleeves. Kind of wish I'd left the left arm alone. Yeah. But I'm not mad at it either. I think the way that this will be displayed, because a lot of my pieces is more display anyway, it's not going to matter too much. You're not going to be really hyper focusing on the back. The legs do go in absolutely beautifully, and the sleeves do not interfere with the legs whatsoever, which I was really pleased about. Really like how the staff is positioned. really like how the head goes on, and of course nothing interferes with the head as well, because the hair blows in the opposite direction to which the staff is, which just works out absolutely beautifully. And here I'm just like comparing the head to the hands, because I think the hands are a bit too big in scale, but also it's a model, and do people really care that much? That much? And some people do have massive hands. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end, you're an absolute star, and don't forget to hit the like button to prove that you actually watched this video. I would love it if you commented to let me know your thoughts and feelings and what you might have done differently or what you might add. And the paint scheme I'm thinking for this, it's probably going to be, I was torn between gangrene teal and like a alchemy purple. Might see about doing them both. So yeah, anyway, check out my social media. As I said in the beginning of this video, everything is now on my linktree at awitchesminis, so you can go and check that out. Definitely go check out my Cauldron crew as well, because they deserve your love for supporting me, both financially and mentally, and they are absolute stars, as well as some absolute incredible talent. So check them out, check me out, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!